Hello, everybody. My name is Brainy. I'm the endocrine system. Hello, my name is Chemical Carl. I'm an endocrine disruptor. Send estrogen signal. Nah, I'll pretend to be estrogen instead. Wait. Why is everything out of balance? Endocrine disruptors mimic or block hormones, confusing the body. It makes it hard for the body to do regular stuff. Oh, man. All right, students. I hope you liked Brainy and Chemical Carl right there. This can be a kind of a freaky subject, these endocrine disruptors. Endocrine system, as you can see, all your hormones in your body send signals throughout to keep everything running. And very common things like shampoo, conditioner, soaps, lotions, things we use every day, deodorant, can contain chemicals that are known to be endocrine disruptors or might be endocrine disruptors. So don't want to freak you out too much, but it's something that we science has shown that can be an issue. So let's get into some of the details. So these are some common compounds I want you to write down that are known to have some sort of an endocrine effect. And you can see they're in everything. One thing you may have heard about is parabens. A lot of times when you buy cosmetic products, shampoos, conditioners, lotions, it might say paraben free. Also, PFAs we've been hearing about a lot lately. Those are in nonstick coatings on cookware. So just the food you cook can transfer some of these chemicals to your food. And then plastics, BPA plastic. I don't think we see BPA, but let me write that down. That's something that has been around. I remember since my kids were little, people were freaking out about BPA bottles for babies and plastic utensils and bottles for kids. So nowadays most of it is probably BPA free, I believe, but just a type of chemical that was easily released into food or drinks when it was placed inside. Dioxins you may have heard about, that's more industrial side of things. PCBs, those are kind of long-term industrial chemicals. So write a few of those down. Basically, just write this definition. These are chemicals that can interfere with the endocrine system of animals. So let's see, where's my chemical? I have to write that down below because that's an issue. Chemicals that can interfere with our endocrine system. So let's go over, pituitary gland, hypothalamus, something you might remember from your biology. Something that you probably heard about is the thyroid gland and the parathyroid. Slow down. Okay, these are important for regulating your body's metabolism, among other things. You remember what this is? This kind of banana-colored organ underneath your stomach, starts with a P. You guessed it, your pancreas. So when you think of insulin, diabetes, think of pancreas. But also a lot of different digestive enzymes are produced there. And here, you definitely heard about, these are the ovaries and testes. Basically, sex hormones for males and females. It produces the sex hormones for males and females. So those are all parts of your endocrine system. All right, so I love this biology part. So this is basically how hormones work. There's this little signal. This is a hormone. It's going in your bloodstream, and this is tissue or a cell of, say, or of an organ, say your heart or liver. And what the hormone will do is go through the membrane, and it'll land on a chemical receptor.
Let's give it a try.
And it will fit right into that receptor, and then it will make some kind of it will activate a gene, activate the transcription of a gene in the nucleus. Now, this is the nucleus. We'll label that. This is the messenger RNA. We'll then go out into the cytoplasm, and we'll find a ribosome. And then it will make a protein. This protein will do something for your body. Okay, for example, make insulin. This could be insulin. And that insulin will then go and create, will help to absorb sugar into your body cells. Anyway, this is a whole system of signaling. It's a signaling pathway for your body. It's kind of a longer, it's a slower, longer acting signaling pathway. The main signaling pathway you usually think about is your nervous system, right? Signal going from your eyes to your brain, or you touch your skin, goes to your brain, you feel touch. That's one way your body communicates with each other, with itself. The other main way is through hormones. And this is what happens with hormone disruptors. So you'll see this kind of orange substance. This is a hormone. It should go onto the receptor. You'll notice this is a different kind of hormone that's on it's on the surface of the cell instead of inside. But this is the disruptor right here. And you see it's getting in there where the hormones should go. So, endocrine disruptor. So it is setting off this signal all the time if it's there in your bloodstream. It should really, this response that we see below should only happen with the hormone, with the presence of the hormone. But now that this disruptor molecule is in the environment, it's getting absorbed into your body, and it's producing this effect when your body doesn't need it. So it's, as you can imagine, it's pretty destructive. Your body really only is very finely tuned into what it wants to happen at a very specific time. So these endocrine disruptors have been shown to lead to birth defects. These are some examples: heart problems, limbs aren't quite developed normally, neural tube defects in the spinal column, cleft lip and palate. So write down a few of those developmental disorders. So you're born, but also you're going to develop differently.
No more broken hearts.
Maybe slower growth, slower time to be able to walk and talk. And then also it's been shown, because a lot of these chemicals end up in the water from our wastewater, basically sex imbalances. And AP calls it gender. It should be called sex, but because sex is a more biological term than gender. But sex imbalances, meaning most organisms have an ideal sex ratio, percentage of male versus females, and this can throw that off. For humans, we should have basically a 50-50 sex ratio. It would be like us suddenly having 80% males or 80% females, and the rest the opposite sex, I should say. And here, this is the CDC has done, I believe this one's CDC, health analysis of health effects. Okay, so these are all some different health issues that can be linked to endocrine disruptors. So effects, and from plastics that we use. Flame retardant is a big thing. We used to use asbestos for a flame retardant, but we knew that caused cancer, so we moved to other chemicals. And now these chemicals are shown to be harmful, so it's a learning process, right? Learning how to be less destructive to ourselves while we try to make it safer for ourselves. So here's an experiment that was run where fish were exposed to a artificial man-made estrogen. It's called ethinoestradiol. Let me write that down. I like these. Ethinoestradiol. Thankfully, they abbreviated EE2. Okay, so I want you to look at this and then try to think, what's the experimental question that could be, what is being asked by just looking at this data? So take a second, ask yourself what that could be. So I hope you pause and ask yourself that. So you can see they had two groups. The CTR group, that's the control group. And then they had the experimental group, which is the EE2. So they had two groups, control, and then where they just had normal fish, and then another group which they gave them the ethinoestradiol, the ethinoestradiol, the fake artificial estrogen. And they measured some different aspects, the sex, and then some different aspects of the fish that are specific to the sex. So the anal fins look different on males and females. The body's slightly different, the body color. These are all secondary sexual characteristics. Secondary sexual characteristics. And think about that for humans. We have secondary sexual characteristics too. Body hair, breasts, hips, voice, muscle composition. Those are all secondary sexual characteristics.
You can't disguise.
So a good experimental question would be, what would be the effects on sex ratio and sex characteristics of exposing fish to EE2? So let's write that down. What would be the effects on sex ratio secondary sex characteristics?
But I couldn't find a way.
Good luck with that handwriting. Sorry. When fish are exposed to EE2. See, I'm trying to write fast. That's the result. What would be the effects on sex ratio and secondary sex characteristics when fish are exposed to EE2? So the independent variable, what the researchers changed. Okay. What they changed was exposure to EE2. Okay, so one group was exposed and one group wasn't. That's what they are manipulating. And dependent variable, that's what they're measuring. So they're measuring certain things, sex ratio, and then the secondary sex characteristics. Okay, so we'll just write that. So dependent variable, sex ratio, and secondary sex characteristics with the sexes. Okay, you see they all. And well, let's look at that. Sex ratio, normal. we can see it's interesting. These fish, mostly male, right? Male majority.
But I couldn't find a way.
Normally, okay? 30% female, 70% male. When we go to the EE2 group, boom, look at this. The female exploded. So way more female. This went way up, right? Look at that. That's got to be about 80%. The male went way down, and we had some, the male, look at that, even smaller. This is the indeterminate, so we don't know. Okay, so yeah, right, this is the results. Sex ratio was impacted. Way more females now than before. And let's look at this. And you can look at the secondary sexual characteristics. The urogenital papillae. Dan don't know what that is. That really, I don't think there are any females that had those. Now, the females mostly have those. The body color, males and females have different body colors. It's all different. Look, body color, the body shape is different. The anal fin is different. So clearly there is an effect. We're seeing an effect of all these different characteristics based on sex and sex ratio. So what can you do? I don't want to leave you without any kind of hope. So there's stuff you can do. So try to reduce your plastic use. That's something that I kind of been doing lately, trying to drink out of glass or steel containers. One big thing, you really need to avoid heating plastics. That is really when a lot of these chemicals are released into your food. So I would be careful, even like washing them, in the sink or in a dishwasher. Like, I do not place plastic in my dishwasher anymore. I wash any plastics I have by hand. I don't know. I have no evidence that helps. But we do have evidence that the heat can release some of these chemicals more easily. We can have regulations. Like I said, BPA used to be common, but it was regulated away from products. Having regulations, like a lot of those flame retardants that were really problematic, are being banned and rethought. Improved wastewater treatment is a big thing. Right now, it's really hard to remove something like artificial estrogen from wastewater. So that's going to probably involve new technology. So your own personal action, don't microwave plastic container. Basically, any kind of plastic, you want to be careful about in the microwave. Okay, so try not to avoid that, and then choose BPA-free products. Or another thing is phthalates. Just try to avoid, anything with a strong scent probably has some sort of volatile organic compound, some sort of chemical in it. So, but I know I love, deodorizing things. I love those things you used to shake in the laundry that make the laundry smell fresh. Those are all extra chemicals you're adding to, your life, especially your clothes, against your skin, breathing it in. So I would recommend, without any, a whole lot of evidence, just try to use less chemicals in your day-to-day life. And in general, that should help you out. All right.